Hello everybody, my name is Lush Eisner and welcome to the Canadian Money Talk, the channel about Canadian investing and personal finance. Please like and subscribe. I record 2 videos per week, so make sure you ring the notification bell to get notified each time one comes out. I wanted to give you some information and an opinion on wealth inequality in Canada in this video. Be careful of wealth inequality versus income inequality. They are different. A person could be making great income but be spending it all and not accumulating any wealth. This video will concentrate on wealth inequality, which subsumes the income and the spending. At the beginning, we will be using the Broadbent Institute 2012 study on wealth. It's a little left-leaning towards socialism, and Ed Broadbent, after whom the institute was named, was a leader of the federal NDP party many years ago. When you look at the pictures, the poorest people are on the left, the richest people are on the right, and the charts are showing wealth. So the survey and the study was separated into multiple parts. First, people were asked what the ideal wealth distribution is. And in the ideal, 60% of the people own 60% of the wealth in the middle, and the richest own 3 times than the poorest folks. This is not bad, and it's fairly equal with some benefit to the rich. Otherwise, they wouldn't be rich. Now, how people think of wealth is actually distributed was the next question, and this is what the next chart shows. The richest 20% own 10 times the wealth of the poorest, and the richest 20% own half the wealth. The bottom 20% own a little more than 5%, but have some share. So this is the way people think the real world actually looks like. And then lastly, and this is the actual. So Canadians vastly underestimate the level of wealth of the rich. 70% of the wealth belongs to 20% of the Canadians. The wealth of the poorest, 20% barely register at 1%, and the bottom 10% actually have a negative net worth. The bottom half of Canadians own less than 6% of the wealth. If you look at financial assets like stocks, excluding real estate, the top 10% hold 60% of financial assets, more than the bottom 90% combined. And the top 1% own 20% of the wealth. Now, because the study was done in 2012, I wanted to do an update on it. And a new study was released by the Bank of Canada. So to update on the 2012 study, the government actions during the 2020 COVID pandemic have some commentators raising concerns that monetary policy actions, from the lower interest rates to large-scale asset purchases, for example, the quantitative easing, may have supported the recovery from COVID, but in a way that benefited the wealthy the most. On the positive side, we do know that over the last decade, net worth has increased amongst all income quintiles, with the households in the lowest 3 income quintiles seeing the biggest increases over the last 5 years. The overall increase in net worth was in both the value of real estate holdings and financial assets. Aside from the recent pandemic measures, the relatively strong increase for the lowest income group was likely due to a compositional effect. The share of people at retirement age in the lowest income quintile rose over the period. As income typically decreases with retirement, some of them moved from a higher income quintile to the lowest income quintile. Since these newly retired households typically have a higher net worth than younger people in the same income quintile, the net worth of these income quintiles increases. If we look at the growth of different components of wealth, we see that both financial assets and real estate have driven the increases in wealth for all income quintiles, with each being roughly equally important drivers for the three lower income groups. Households in the lowest income quintiles saw the largest increase in financial assets since 2017. Various government support programs targeted to low-income households during the pandemic periodically undoubtedly explain some of this in more recent years. That said, compositional changes were also important. In particular, an increase in the share of the retirement age population in the lowest income quintile is a contributing factor to the relatively strong increase in net worth of this group. That's because, while income typically goes down with retirement, moving some older households to the lowest income quintile, many of these households hold financial assets and therefore have higher net worth than the younger people in the same income quintile. The composition of net worth also differs across each income group. Real estate and financial assets are the two largest categories of assets. Real estate is the most important asset for people in the lowest income quintile, while financial assets are the most important for those in the highest quintile. To conclude, you have to decide on your philosophy and outlook on life and choose your government accordingly. Should everyone be equal, or separate people according to ability, intelligence, or hard work? Some countries let poor starve. Canada has a welfare payment system, and people earning more pay more taxes, even though the rich find ways around it, generally by not earning a salary and deferring the selling of assets. The tax system is skewed towards investors as it is. You need to look at how socialist you want your Canada to be. The elected government could swing the system to make people a lot more equal, but then be penalizing success and taking away from capitalism, and possibly the ability, intelligence, and hard work that goes into producing wealth. I'll leave you with a final, funny, and yet perhaps appropriate philosophy on wealth that is somewhere between socialism and the heartbreaking hardcore capitalism. This was a tweet from Michael Jolette. Okay, how about this? No more billionaires. None. After you reach 999 million, every red cent goes to schools and healthcare. You get a trophy that says, I won capitalism, and we name a dog park after you. If you have any requests on what you'd like me to cover in future videos, please put that into the comment section. Please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and may you have a profitable day.